n'y a pas de micro.
Je confirme.
Sorry, are you hearing now?
Yes.
Thank you, thank
Okay,
you.
sorry.
So we just missed the beginning, but I guess that's okay. Thanks.
No, okay, I will begin again. So my name is Lourdes. I come from the Azores archipelago and from CBO's Research Center. Sorry for, I will talk in English. And now I will.
Next is going to be in French.
Yeah, yeah, it's in French. And now I am beginning my postdoc here in Montpellier, but the study area is in the Azores Islands. And today I will talk about this topic. Why? Okay, Azores Islands as a model systems, namely, I will talk about biodiversity and ecological patterns, genetic patterns along a gradient of anthropogenic disturbance. So my talk is divided in three parts. In the first part of this session, I will talk about the Azores, about some topics, the localization, the geology, the climatic variables, and some other topics. And in the second part of this presentation, I will show you some the main results of some projects that I developed in the Azores. And finally, I will talk about my PhD, my postdoc project here in Montpellier. So, the Azores archipelago is located in the Atlantic Ocean. I will use this in the Atlantic Ocean between the North America and Europe. It's about 1,050 kilometers from Lisbon, the mainland, and about 2,000 kilometers from Montpellier. And the distance between the North America and the Azores is almost 4,000 kilometers. Okay, so the Azores belong to Micronesia region. Is an important region because it is considered as a biodiversity hotspot with higher amounts of species, endemic species. So, Micronesia is composed by four archipelagos: Azores, Madeira. Madeira is the other Portuguese archipelago, Canary Islands, and Cape Verde Islands. So, the Azores is composed by 9 islands. These islands is divided into three subarchipelagos, 3 groups. The eastern group is composed by San Miguel Islands and Santa Maria Islands. The central group is composed by Terceira, Graciosa, São Jorge, Pico, and Faial Islands. And the western group is composed by 2 small islands, Curvo Island and Flores Islands. In green, I put the islands that we will study in this postdoc project. So, the distance between Santa Maria and Curvo Islands is about 600 kilometers. And the distance between Western Group and Central Group is about 2 kilometers. And between the Central Group and Curvo Islands is about 2 kilometers, 2,000 kilometers. Okay. Pico Islands is the high point of Portugal with 2,500 altitudes above sea level. But actually, more than 70% of the total surface area is below 300 meters of altitude above sea level. Okay. Okay. And more information that is important. Okay, San Miguel Island is a bigger island with about 700 square kilometers, and the Curvo Islands is a small island with only 70 square kilometers. Population is about 250 inhabitants, and regarding 2 climatic variables, it's a mild temperatures The temperature average is about 70 degrees with high relative humidity. The average value is around the 78%, but it depends if you go to the higher points of the islands in the natural areas, the humidity can reach as 95%. And the rainfall, the average annual of precipitation is about 2,000 millimeters, and the sea water temperatures in the winter is about 50 graus Celsius, and in the summer is 24 Celsius. Okay, here you can see San Miguel Islands. Here is the south point of the island, is the south and is the north of the island. Our research center is located here in the Ponta Delgada city. I live here. I actually born and grow up here, and now I live here near to Sete Cidades Vulcano. In the Azores, there was 26 volcanic active, but in dormancy. In the Azores Islands, we see here Sete Cidades Vulcano, and in the middle of the island, Lagoa do Fogo Volcano, and here we cannot see Furnas Volcano. And here we can see this part of the islands. It's we will do our first mission field trip in 2 weeks. We will beginning in 23 of April, and we will work on this area. It's a protected area with some remaining natural package. Okay, so we can see also Pico Islands, as I said, as I told you, is a higher point of Portugal, and the Vulcani occupy mostly the central part of the Pico Islands. And Flores Islands. Okay, it's the south of the island, and the north of the island is the westernmost point of Europe. It's located here. There was a small, we call mushik. It's like a small. How can I say in English? Okay, a little. Hi, help me. Yeah, a small island. A small island. Yeah. Okay. So we will work already on the Flores Island. Flores Islands is the most preserved islands, with most of the natural forests are here in Flores Islands. So actually, the Azores is between three tectonic plates. So San Miguel and Terceira, San Miguel, the north of San Miguel and Terceira Islands, part of these islands are in the plates, Regia plates. The south and the other remaining islands of the central group are in the Africa plate, and Flores and Cook Islands are in the American plates. Here you can see the seismicity map. The last eruption is in Fayal Islands in '59. Most of the population needs to move to America, and now we have two crises in Terceira Islands. And 2 years ago in São Jorge Islands, most of the people needs to move to Pico Islands and San Miguel Islands. But it's okay, Denise, it's okay for us. No problem, don't worry. So, this volcanic activity is responsible for the landscape that we see. So, a lot of craterras, mountain peaks. Here we can see Caldeirão, Fayal Islands, Flores Islands, Lagoon, and Caldeirão of Perth Islands. And regarding to the age of the islands, Santa Maria Islands, these islands, is the oldest islands with about 6 million years old, and the Pico Islands is the baby islands, is the youngest islands with about 250,000 years. Of course, this age is still controversy. And since 10 years ago, a lot of research teams are working on this topic. So I will talk a little bit regarding a little bit of history, the landscape changing the Azores. So the Azores the human settling was in the 50th century. And according to this Azorian historian, Gaspar Futebus, before the settlers, probably the islands are occupied by mostly then 60% of the islands are occupied by forests. Okay, and Gaspar Futebus describes closed in wild bush and completely inaccessible and impenetrable, and there was no place to explore and to study. Okay, in 18th century, the orange crops are important. They increase the economy of the archipelago, but then the Cocos Espiridium lost of all this economy, and the orange crops. Almost 90% of the people that don't produce anymore. So now we only have a few producers, and we can find some old orange crops, mostly in Pico Islands and Terceira and someone in São Miguel Islands. Okay, and then three Azorian gardeners, António Borges, Jacques Correia, and José de Canto, three gardeners. It's like a battle between each other. Who have more exotic species in the garden? Mm-hmm. So the guys contract the best gardeners, the French gardeners and English gardeners. And for you have an idea, in 4 years, José de Canto win. They introduce 4,000 exotic species in the islands. It's crazy. Now I need to work with all these problems. Yeah. Okay. Move on. And the biggest crisis in the Azorian forests, mostly native and also exotic forests, disappeared during the Second World War, because it's a search for the military search, the American military bases. Today it's already in Terceira Island, we have American military bases. And the forests are replaced by pastures, and mostly to a source of energy for all these military forces. And in 1956, Forestry Services established its activity. You can see here Serra da Tronqueira. We will be there, Jean-Claude and Denise, in a few days here. Okay. So it's Serra da Tronqueira in São Miguel Islands, and now. But now you can see a lot of vegetation, but 90% of this vegetation is one species, Pittosporum undulatum. It's a night-spread invasive species, native from Australia. Even in Australia, it is invasive in some places. Okay, and now what we have? Mostly 42% are dominated by pasturelets. Okay, all these light green pastures, and 22% dominated by forest areas. And here we included natural forests, exotic woodland dominated by Pittosporum undulatum, and production forests. Production forest in the Azores is mostly dominated by Cryptomera japonica. Cryptomera japonica, and in Terceira Islands is mostly Ecological globus, and in Pico Islands, Pinus pinaster. So it depends the islands, but mostly is Cryptomera japonica that dominated in the Azores for the planted forests. Okay, So, 2 years ago, the government founded a project that the main goal is to update the list of vascular plants in the Azores. So we go to all the companies that produce and distribute plants. We go to the main gardens, parks, farms, woods, viewpoints, garden squares, and others. And the conclusions, we have 250 indigenous taxa and about 100 endemic taxa. And when we go to the other side, non-indigenous taxa, we have almost 4,000 taxa. About 3,000 is cultivated, 300 is casual, escaped from culture, and 300 is naturalized. And we have almost 150 invasive species. And for all these species, we did a risk assessment based on the Hawaiian Pacific red risk and based also in Australia red risk assessment. So the government now is, I hope they will work on this. And when the people, because most of these companies don't request the government to put species in the Azores. Yeah, it's no control. So we hope with this project, there is obligation of the people request to the governmentation. Okay, I want to introduce these plants, and the government will go the risk assessment. Okay, no, this is not possible because the risk of assessment is higher. I don't know. I hope it will be happen. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. So the Azores Islands actually can be an interesting model regarding two studies in the diversity pattern change, not only in plants, but also in other taxonomic groups, for example, anthropes, associated with all these anthropogenic activity. And now I will, the second part of my presentation. Okay, first I will show you my lifetime, my academic lifetime. In 2007, I finished my graduation in biotechnology engineering in north of Portugal, the agrarian faculty, and in Italy, in the University of Pisa, agrarian school. And then in 2012, I finished my master thesis in biodiversity and plant biotechnology with this dissertation, population genetic and phylogenetic study of genitopes in the Azores and Madeira Islands. I will talk a little more in the next few slides. And my supervisor is Dr. Monica Moura. And in 2018, I finished my PhD in biology, but with dissertation, contribution of triage determination and biomass estimation models for management of exotic woodlands dominated by one species, Pittosporum undulatum. And my supervisor is Luís Silva. I think he's with us in online platform. Hi, Luís and Monica. I think we are here. Hi, guys. And now I will do my my second postdoc here in Montpellier. And I will talk about the main results that I developed between my PhD and until now. Okay. So maybe I can push. No, it's not possible. Okay, so. Okay, so I belong to CBO. CBO is a research center in biodiversity and genetic research. And this center is located on north of Portugal, on Porto. But CBio have another 3 poles, one located in the Azores Islands, in São Miguel Islands, in the University of the Azores, another 2 ones in Lisbon, the School of Agriculture and the Secretariat of Culture States. And between the CBO Porto, there was a lot of groups. So I belong to BOIs, Biodiversity Islands. So within the CBO Porto, I work in BOIs. And BOIs is a group that belongs to CBO's Azores, the pole of CBO Azores. And in the CBO Azores, there are also so many groups. And in CBO Azores, I belong mostly to groups. Modelandage, led by Luís Silva, my PhD supervisor. We mostly work in modeling and land management on islands. Here you can see our team and some PhD students. And the other one is the Verge group, led by Monica Mora, my supervisor in master thesis, our team also, and some studying PhD students. And now I will first talk about the work that I developed here in Modelandage and then in the Verge. So in Modelandage group, okay, I mostly work with invasive plant species and in different topics: ecological modeling, risk assessment, that, as I show you in the last slides, ecological services, management plans, and also we do cleaning actions. And my PhD projects, as I told you, is about to find some alternatives, some use for the management of these widespread invasive species. So Natural Reason is a private company that funded my PhD, of course in collaboration with CBU and University of the Azores. Natural Reason is a private company that mostly work on bioenergy. Specifically, they produce wood pellets. And the company want to know the amount of biomass available in the Azores Islands from Pittosporum undulatum. Why the company choose this species? Because there are most of 50% of the Azores forest is dominated by these species, and this species is higher calorific values and the low hash contents. And the parameters, biochemicals, physical and chemical parameters are within the scope of the bioenergy sources. Okay, so what I did? I developed allometric equations, taking into account a dendrometric approach. Dendrometric approach is related with some variables that we measure in the trees. So the total height, the diameter at breast height, the diameter in the bases, the crown diameter, the crown height. So I measured about 4,000 trees. All these trees in each trees, okay? And then I developed different models, different allometric models, and this one is the best model with the last error, less than 10%. Okay. And also it's important for this kind of studies to, I use a dendrochronology approach. So it's important to know, okay, Pittosporum undulatum, we need 26 years to reach at breast heights and to have a diameter with 8 centimeters. Okay, it's not enough, we will see, for the company, it's not viable. And then with the model and the triage determination and this data, I calculate the annual total biomass, tons per year. And we give this number to the company, and the company did a feasibility study, and they conclude they is not viable because 26 years they need to wait a lot, and we are islands, and this is not viable. In the beginning, me and my supervisor, we talk. Okay, we will do this work. It's important for us. Let me see, but. Actually, it's not viable to use pitosporo for massive production and export wood pellets. Okay, now another project. When I finish my PhD, I beginning this project is funded by the government, and we have this data on the published on the scientific reports in the Nature. With this name, taxonomic, structural diversity, and carbon stock in a gradient of islands. And our main goal is assess of biodiversity and the Azorian ecosystem forests at two levels, at the community level and at the ecosystem level. In the community level, we evaluate the structure and the composition of forest community, and at the ecosystem level, most we want to estimate the biomass and the carbon stocks accumulation on a gradient of forest types. Okay, so what we do, we study 3 islands, San Miguel, Pico, and Terceira Islands, in which we sampled 3 plots of production forest, 30 plots of production forest dominated by Cryptomeria japonica, 30 plots of exotic woodlands, and 30 plots of natural forest. Regarding to the environment variables, production forests and exotic and the natural forests are higher altitudes, and the exotic lower altitude. Production and natural forest, the temperature are lower, of course, and the precipitation is higher, and also the humidity when we compare with the exotic woodlands. Okay, the methodology to estimate the total carbon stock, we take into account all carbon. So carbon present in soil, in leaf litter, and in trees, and in the roots. Okay, so we collected the soil at different 20 centimeters. For the soil, we estimated the biochemical parameters, the bulk density, and the carbon, of course, and for leaf litter, and for the trees. The total carbon is calculated, taking into account the total biomass, okay? And the total biomass, I use the equation that I developed in my PhD, okay? Because when we go to calculate carbon, we need to take the specific allometric equation developed for the specific region. And majority of the work that we see in the world, the people use general equation, and the error is on subestimated biomass. Okay, so it's a total carbon stock methodology, and the main results, it's natural forest is the lowest, and the production forest accumulates the highest amount of carbon. People ask me why the natural forests accumulates lower carbon than the production forest. Because, of course, natural forests are cutting, okay, and devastated. And in the Azores, we already have a remaining package of natural forests at a higher altitudes. And a higher altitude with the wind, they're more exposed. The trees have are lower than the Cryptomeria japonica. Cryptomeria japonica can reach at 4 meters of height. And the statute of natural forests, maximum of 6 height. it's small trees. Okay, so they accumulate less carbon. Okay, and in leaf and in soil, in leaf, we cannot see a difference between forest and islands. Okay, and in soil, also we cannot see a difference between islands. Sorry, we can see a difference between islands, but we cannot see difference between exotic forests and natural forests and produced forests, because Pico Islands, as I told you, is the youngest islands. And you will see, Denise and Jean-Claude, in the Pico Islands, we don't have a true soil. It's a sandy, like a sandy, okay? So the amount of carbon stock is lower. Okay. And in this project, we also assess to the taxonomic diversity. And we can see that San Miguel Islands, for the tree forest type, shown the highest number of taxa, but with the highest proportion of exotic elements. Pico Islands present a higher contribution of endemic and native taxa. Pico Island is also, like Lourdes, a preserved islands. Okay, and natural forests, of course, show for all for beta, gamma, and all diversity index, and for Shannon and evenness, show the highest values. And of course, we conclude that natural forests are important biodiversity hotspots with the highest plant diversity levels, and of course, forest production the lowest, show the lowest plant diversity. Already reading the Modelands group. Now I finished this. I am already finished this task. So we are modeling the effect of climate change on the risk of expansion of 7 invasive plants. Okay, this task is within the regional strategy of control and prevention of invasive alien species. Now I am modeling 7 invasive species: Gundra tintoria, Pittosporum plato, Hydrangea, Macrophylla, Edigno gardinarium, Solanium maritanium, Lycisteria formosa, and Arudo donuts. And methodology. So now I am here, okay? So I use the 19 bioclimatic variable available on WorldClim, and I use some tests to select the best climatic variables. Then I use data from GBIF, and after the treatments, I take into account a coordinated error less than 1 kilometers, and I only use data with less than 30 years. Okay, so after you have the establishment geographic space occupied by presence, we create pseudo absences. And I selected already the best climatic modeling. We use software R, a biomod package, and mostly assemble of multiple algorithms. We use model like random forests, GEM, LEM, GAM, and others. But for our data, random forest is the best model. Okay. For evaluate the models, we use usual metrics, TSS, AUC, the Boyce index. And now I do the selection now. I have the best model for each 7 species, and now I am doing the projections for the present and for the future. I have in account 2 scenarios, 2 RCP. RCP is representative concentration package regarding to the emission carbons. And I am using the 4.5, a moderate scenario, and a 8.5, a most severe scenario. And then I will compare. And four time series. And then I will, so we will create a group of risks, taking into account the percentage of the suitability area, more than 80% high risk, and less than 50% a lower risk. And I will show you some preliminary data just for Hydrangea macrophylla. Hydrangea macrophylla are currents in all islands and present in different habitats like laurel forests, peat bogs, hedgerows, along of roads and agricultural trails, and in natural parks and all of the islands. Okay, and our preliminary results put the Hydrangea macrophylla in a high risk. Okay, with high probability of occurrence for all scenarios and all islands, and present in the future in all natural parks, and high values of habitat suitability for all scenarios and for all islands. Okay, and in the woodland groups, we have some collaboration with colleagues from South Africa, Republika Czech. Last year, we published this paper, genetic and morphological data about Carpobrotish hybrids. Carpobrotish is an invasive species in the Azores, in the south of America, in the south of Africa. Okay, and we do clean actions. Here you can see last year clean action of Gundra tinctoria is dramatic at the moment in São Miguel Islands, occupy several natural islands, and it is aggressive species. And okay, and now I will talk a little about my work in the other group within the CBO, the Diverge group. So comparing with other Macaronesian archipelagos, the Azores show lower numbers of endemic plants. Why? Because, according to Monica and Luis, and I assign also, there is a lack of multifaceted studies and a lack of study of morphological variation. So actually, we have I told you in the beginning, we have about 100 endemic species, but probably is more, okay? And yeah, I will show you the topic is a good example to see that. During my master, I work with Jenny Tolpish. Tolpish is a remarkable biogeographically because he's presently in all of Macaronesian archipelagos. Until now, is described about 12 species, 6 in Canary Islands, 1 for Cape Verde, and 1 endemic to Azores, 1 endemic to Madeira, and 1 shared in Azores and Madeira Islands, 1 in the mainland, and 1 in Africa. And Tolpish is herbaceous plants, as you can see here. Okay. Yellow florets with long papils for dispersion, and mostly you can find at coastal vegetation and at a high altitude vegetation. So as I say, for the Madeira 1 endemic until now, for the Azores 1 endemic, and the Tolpish culenta shared by the 2 archipelagos. But when we go to the fields and we will see in our field trip, Denise, we will see Tolpish culenta. We see clearly difference in the leaves, in the shape of the leaves, the diameter of the capitula, and some other traits. And in my master, I use microsatellites, and yes, I conclude that. For example, Tolpish azorica is until now 1 species, but with this microsatellite study, I conclude that no, São Miguel is in separate group. Central Islands are in a separated group, and the Western Islands, Pico and Curve in other group. And also Topish plankton, as I told you, is shared by, is one species shared by Azores and Madeira, and actually, no, two main groups, pink and orange group. Okay. And within the Azores, we found three different groups. So, what we do along all this time during my master, I produced this data, the intra and inter archipelago population genetic patterns. And then we start to collaborate with our colleagues in UK, University of Kansas and America. And we did a lot of this work, mainly on breeding systems, phylogenetics studies of the topis in Madeira and the Azores. And now I'm here. I finished the writing my article. The other authors are now in revision, and now we are reassessing the taxonomic of topis in the Azores and Madeira, and what we can see. So I measure 76 quantitative and qualitative morphological characters from about 300 specimens and 100 population in all islands of the Azores, in the two islands of Archipelago Madeira, and we can find, okay, Madeira F, Topis macroiza is an endemism of Madeira, but Topis succulenta is an endemism just for Madeira. And within the Azores, we have also Topis azorica, but now we will describe 7 new species. Yeah. And now the paper is done, is under revision by the other authors, and now I finished the treatment taxonomic. Tables with all the specimen measure that's collected in different herbarium and so on. And I want to thank all these people, all these colleagues. Yeah, of course, without them, much of this work is not possible. And finally, I have time? Yeah. And finally, I will talk a little bit of this present postdoc. So, but before I need to tell you, is this postdoc is in the scope of Biopolish projects. So, Biopolish project is founded by European Age 2020 program, and he aims to transform the CBO Porto, on the center of excellence, mainly in the fields of biodiversity, agrobiodiversity, and ecosystem services. And how we can reach these aims with the University of Montpellier partners. So the University of Montpellier as a partners a long time ago of CBO, and the University of Montpellier supports the Biopolish research, and we support the CBO in these skill transfers projects. And the name of my present postdoc is Close Encounter in Atlantic Islands on Revealing Arthropods, Alien Plants Multitrophic Interaction in the Azores Islands. The duration is 2 years, about 2 years, starting last week and finishing 21 of March 26. Okay, and this is of team's member, Denise, Louis Silva, Carole, Jean-Pierre, Jean-Claude, Alain, Philippe, Emmanuel, Marie-Stéphane, Armélie, Eric Pierre, and me. And it's a great pleasure to work all these mentors and all this. It's a great pleasure to work all. I think I will not alone. It's a great challenge for me, but I think it's good. Okay, so The project is acronyms of the project All Inter AZ. So we will focus on multi-trophic interaction involving terrestrial crops, phytophags, and its associated predator and parasitoids, mostly hymenopterous and mites. And alien plants could be invasive or not, but also we will include the cloud-related plants or phenotypically similar in a gradient of, so I will show some of the plants that we will work. I will talk along my presentation Gondra tinctoria, Pittosporum undulatum, Hydrangea, Dicium, Solanium, Lycisteria, Warundum, and also this one also in invasive species, but also non-invasive species, Laurus nobili. Nobilis is a non-invasive species in the Azores, and the endemic Laurus azorica. And along we will study these interactions between arthropods and plants along a gradient of increasing anthropogenic impact in the Azores Islands. So our study area is the Azores Islands. Okay, I show you some anthropogenic gradients that we will study. A coastal vegetation is a disturbed area dominated by Pittosporum, Morellophyia, Arundinodonax, and some endemic plants also, and mountain forest vegetation, also disturbed area. And we will also include some gardens. For example, Terra Nostra Garden. In Terra Nostra Garden, as I told you, we did an updated of list, and in this garden, we find 700 varieties and cultivars of Camellia japonica. So I think we can study Camellia japonica. We have in the small area all these varieties, almost 700 varieties of Camellia japonica. And also we will study some crops, an old orange crops present in the Pico and San Miguel Islands. And here you can see we have a lot of questions regarding to several topics. I will show you some questions regarding to tropical communities associated with alien plants. So, do alien plants present in the Azores hosted alien herbivore arthropods? And what is the associated diversity? Have endemic phytophags arthropods adapt to invasive plants in the Azores? And what is the associated diversity? For trophic interactions, are trophic interactions similar in alien and endemic naturalized host plants? Do the arthropods that successfully colonize the exotic plants exhibit high genetic diversity? What is the distribution of this genetic diversity of phytophag species that successfully colonize alien plants? And are the ecosystem traits affecting these interactions? And ecosystem anthropogenic influence affect these communities and this multi-trophic interaction, and how they influence? And on ecological services, what regulation service these local phytophags in terms of invasive plant management offer? Okay, could some arthrop species be management to help the on invasive plant management? I hope so. Yeah, and on biodiversity issues, are the biosecurity issues regarding invasive arthropods present on the Azores and Portugal and in other areas of Europe? We will see. And these projects, we will develop two main actions. The first action in the first year is explanatory action, and we will focus mainly on the taxonomic characterization of arthropod communities associated to invasive plants. at a species or gene level. Okay, we will do 4 field trips, 2 in spring and 2 in autumn. And for this taxonomic characterization, we will use barcoding analysis, phylogenetic analysis, morphological analysis. And the second year, we will develop the action 2, mostly related to ecological studies, but this action the planning of this action will depend the result from the action 1. So we want to the genetic diversity and ecosystem factor influence the interaction of the arthropods community with alien plants in the Azores. And finally, almost finally, so this collaboration between Montpellier, CBGP, and CBO Azores, Biopolage is a project based on to transfer knowledge and skills to CBO. So for now, is a new compartment because in CBO Azores, we are all botanists. In my group, we are botanists, and we have a lack on this topic. Azores University have 3 poles, 1 in São Miguel, 1 in Terceira, and 1 in Faial. Faial is regarding to a marine topic. And in Terceira Islands, there was a team, entomological team, that work on arthropods, but they work mostly on endemic ecosystems and on endemic vegetation. And here with this project, we will mostly work on anthropogenic vegetation and ecosystems. So a new compartment for CBO Azores, a new research line on plant invasive ecology, of course, increase the skills of our center, and the acknowledgements and the enrichments and also the enrichments of reference entomological and carological collections. Some collection will stay in Portugal in CB, and other collection will stay in CBGP. And for me, why I decided to take this challenge, because as I told you, is a lack in our team. And along all my academic research, I mostly work and with the goal of understand the impact of invasive plants in the ecosystem. So now I think it's important because the effect of the plants in the arthropods are poorly studied on the Azores. So I think is increase my skills, and not also my skills, the acknowledgements for the Azores and for all entomologists in the Europe and for the world. Here you have 2 Azorian biodiversity platform if you want to explore flora. Here is a flora developed by Mora. I think you can upload the app. And here, Azores Bioportal. In this Bioportal, we include all taxa, terrestrial and marine taxa. So here you find flora and arthropods and marine and algae and all of the taxa present in the Azores. And merci beaucoup for your attention. Questions? I'll want to. Have questions?
Online, maybe.
Hi guys, in online. Are you hearing me? Are you here? Are you here, Luis, Monica, and someone in CBGP?
No.
Are you hearing?
No.
No. Don't have questions, okay, yeah.
You said that there was a laboratory working on insects, an entomology laboratory, but they were mostly studying natural systems.
Yeah, mostly.
Is there any example of invasive pest species they are studying, or
Yeah, I think they are studying some.
species that would be a problem in natural ecosystems?
No, I think they mostly study, yeah, in native,
Native species.
native species. But they already have a list of exotic species, but mostly of the ecological studies is on the natural areas with native and endemic species plants.
They are doing conservation, biology.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But these groups in the Terceira Islands don't belong to CBU, it's another research center. Yeah.
What about your relationships with them? In the future, it would be possible to exchange and to work with them.
Yeah, of course. But, some guys, I think it's okay to talk with them or not. Work with the topic of Jocelyn, Aphidis, Coccidae. Okay, it's okay, no problem. For insects, I don't know if you know Paul Borges. Okay, could be more problematic, but I think we can. Oh, of course,
Okay, see.
change it for me. We'll see. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Just a question. Then the first idea, it was to take advantage of the invasive species to produce something, and in this way also control the invasive species.
Yes.
But now this idea,
No.
no.
No. And for the Azores, we don't have this kind of studies. So I think we will be a pioneer in this area. Yeah, mostly.
But it doesn't,
No.
the private companies, they were not interested about.
Yeah. Probably, of course, if you go to the companies, private companies, they always open the doors, like in my PhD. So in the Azores, we have a lack of research people. No one want to go to Azores study. So if you don't have the studies, the companies will not open the doors. Yes. But if you have the idea, the company will open.
It was just a curiosity. And about the natural parks, do you have some natural parks that they have control programs to
No.
invasive species?
No, we don't
No.
have. No, just in Terceira Islands, the team of Paul Borges have some control program, but mostly in crops.
In crops.
In some crops, banana, I think in banana, and floristic crops also.
But to control the invasive plants, there is no national plan.
No. There isn't. I think when we finish this postdoc, we can elaborate a new project with these ideas. Yeah, maybe.
I'm not sure if you told it, but will you, in your postdoc, will you study the relationships only with not cultivated species, invasive or?
No, with cultivated and not cultivated
Okay,
species, yes.
Okay, so you will
include all these cultivated and non-cultivated species.
sample
species.
like in agricultural fields and also in seminar.
Yeah, in the agricultural fields and in the nature. So artificial ecosystems and natural ecosystems we will include in these postdoc projects. Yeah.
Pour curiosité, la espèce invasive elle est arrivée et elle a pris la place parce que c'est déforesté, ou elle arrive dans un endroit à côté qu'il y a des forêts natives et elle a commencé à prendre les places des forêts natives qui ne sont pas déforestées.
What species you are talking? Pittosporum undulatum? No.
Tu as dit qu'il y a une espèce invasive qui c'est partout.
C'est Pittosporum undulatum, a wood species, not arthrop.
Non, non, c'est des arbres, oui,
Des arbres.
oui.
Oui, c'est Pittosporum undulatum.
Mais elle est...
They spread.
Mais c'est spray parce que c'est déforesté, c'est ça?
During the Second World War, they deforest, mostly 7% of the total forest area. And then the tree gardeners put in his gardens some plants of Pittosporum undulatum. And in the beginning is controlled, but Pittosporum undulatum have the capacity to spread, and one seeds, one trees is thousands of seeds. So after 5 years, Josette Camp Gardner don't control Pittosporum undulatum. They go behind these gardeners, and then to the other islands.
Can you tell us why they cut down all the trees during the Second War? The Second World
Why?
War?
Why?
Why? Yeah.
Because mostly the military American army. Actually, now in Terceira Island we have called American bases.